On Sunday, Italian voters turned to anti-establishment Eurosceptic parties while rejecting mainstream traditional ones. The main winners of Italy's recent elections turned out to be the anti-establishment Five Star movement, M5S, and the right-wing Lega party, as both parties saw their share of the vote grow dramatically. Their strength at the polls was a strong indicator of voter anger after a long period of economic stagnation and the constant flow of migrants from Africa and elsewhere.
The elections finally have expressed the wish for a radical change in the way the country is run, especially regarding the national elites that have been running the country over the past 30 years. This is a process that should have started when the first Italian Republic fell down in 1992, but in fact it never took place. So this time the electorate has expressed a rejection to the centrist forces that have been running the country over the past 30 years, and has chosen new forces, particularly the Five Star movement, that represent the social masses without any ideology and not belonging to any of the political traditions known in the country.
That said, no party or alliance got over the threshold of 40%, which would have allowed it to form a government outright. The two populist parties have close ideological ties to the Kremlin and could shift foreign policy in Italy in favor of Russia. Both the M5S and the Lega party have raised the possibility of abandoning NATO and called for ending sanctions on Russia, which they say have hurt the Italian economy. However, some political observers argue the growing influence of these two parties will not necessarily spell a sea change for Italy-Russia relations.
They may be more keen, especially the League, for economic reasons, to overcome the sanctions to Russia. In this sense, this is something that represents the interest of their electorate, because most of the medium and small-sized companies in Italy, they had a traditional market in Russia. So the relationship may go easier if this force goes to the government. But we have to remember that Italy is part of a number of alliances, including NATO and the EU. So it is difficult that such a new government, should it happen, may just overcome such stronger and long-term alliances with the West.
The election results were not just an alarming measure of Italy's mood, but also an indication of potential troubles for Europe. Italians registered their dismay with the European political establishment, handing a majority of votes to the parties that shared varying degrees of skepticism toward the European Union, with promises to put Italy before Europe. When Chancellor Angela Merkel of Germany and President Emmanuel Macron of France beat back populist parties in the past year, Europe breathed a sigh of relief for staving off the forces threatening its unity and values. Now, after the Italian elections, that turned out to be short-lived.